Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your daily dose, your spiritual vitamin with me, Bonnie B. Now, this morning, my spirit wants me to teach on a couple topics. So this is more or less a little introduction on what's coming up. Okay? We're going to learn more about our moon energies and their significance in manifesting and bringing their manifestations into fruition, but not just moon energies. The way God intended for us to use our moon energies. I'm going to be answering why the moon and the sun are the same circumference, and why we have eclipses according to God. But for this particular individual broadcast, I would like to discuss about the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki. I don't know how many of you out there are familiar with the Anunnaki, but the Anunnaki are a race of spirits, people, demigods, aliens that existed during the days of Sumeria. Now, during these days, contrary to what we may believe to be myth or mythology, these demigods were very real. And in our conscious awakening, those of you who may have begun to awaken, who may have begun to realize and understand that you are star seeds and that you have higher callings or higher purposes of existence rather than the okie doke of everyday life. In your awakening of consciousness, your body will begin to go through physical manifestations as well as changes. You may get headaches because your third eye is waking up. You may begin to see things in trees or dreams, and sometimes daytime visions. The Anunnaki are part of the second round of angels that were created by God. God created angels on the second day of creation when He created them from the rock. Okay. God created angels from rocks. There was one legion out of all the legions of angels who followed the morning star Lucifer's command, because Lucifer was an archangel. And there were angels under his command. When Lucifer decided that he wanted himself a throne in outer space to be equal to God, in the firmament among the stars up high, he wanted a throne. He wanted to be worshipped. God wasn't having it. So God cast Lucifer into the earth. What this means, according to what God is telling my spirit and telling me to tell you, Lucifer was cast into outer space. Therefore, he had accessibility to all the planets in the solar system and the galaxy, including the planet Earth. When God created the earth, He created it for the purpose of His human creation. God created the earth for Adam and Eve, and it was originally created as to be a utopia for God. But when God tested Adam, He saw Adam would sin and not realize he was sinning. So He created him and Eve to give him the out, because He knew Adam could not survive alone. Satan knew the grand plan of God. He always knew, because it says that when God cast Satan into the world, into the earth, into the atmosphere, He changed his appearance, which is the reason that we have draconians and reptilians. This was the appearance that God gave Lucifer and that legion, the reptilian line. The Watchers fell under the spiritual influence of Lucifer, because Lucifer had dominion. So as the Watchers, who were originally on their posts to watch over mankind, lost their roles, they decided they wanted to lay with the daughters of men, crossing that spiritual line that God had deemed them not to cross. So there was a separate penalty for them. There's the legion that belonged to Lucifer. Those are the demons. And then there's the Watchers. And then there's the fallen Watchers. Now, those fallen Watchers are named in the Bible because these were the heads. These were the ones who made the pacts and the decisions to cross God, to transgress. When they transgressed and went below that of their originally height, they were angels. They were above man as far as knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. When they crossed that line and laid with the daughters of men, that's where the seed and the DNA became polluted. Because at that point, the Watchers went to Enoch, the scribe of God, and asked, because God communicated with Enoch through dreams, and he was given access back to God to plead on behalf of those Watchers. So Enoch was privy to an everyday conversation, the same way that we would have with one another, but he had this conversation with God about the Watchers. The Watchers were the angels of God from those legions that he created in the second day of creation from rock. Lucifer's legions were all changed to reptilians. The Watchers were not. They were the Elohim. The El. Elohim is the shining ones who came down. They had the ability to change, shape-shift. They took the daughters. That's where you get the Zeuses, the Thors, even the beautiful queen with the long, what's her name? Cannot call her name now. Even Nefertiti, Anaki. They found that the Anaki wore headdresses to cover the shape of the skull. This is where their higher wisdoms and knowledges came from, because they were among the offspring of Watchers. Not all the Watchers were bad, and not all the Watchers were good. Some of the Watchers' offsprings were demonic, and the Anaki were part of those seven angels who judged the demons in hell, placed a sentence upon them, because that is their job in Hades. They are the ones who God went his son when he died. It is those 7 judges in Hades that the Egyptians pray to. Those 7 deities of hell, the Anaki, the underworld. This is why they had rituals and practices that they went through upon death, because they worshipped Horus. They worshipped the Egyptian, the all-seeing eye of prosperity, as well as protection from the evil eye of jealousy. They knew there were 7 judges in hell. They knew that during this time the Christ had not come, they had to go to hell. They knew with the higher well-knowing, because the Watchers, who not only gave them knowledge into the cosmos, the stars, making of weapons, technologies. This is why, society at large is behind. There's a reason that, we as, they are called, the people who were not of Israel descent, they call them Gentiles, like the Greeks and the Romans. They were known as Gentiles. People who were not of God, people who were not of a Jewish nature, were known as Gentiles. The Gentiles worshipped Horus. There were Els and Elohim who did come during this time, because they gave information to the Canaanites in the land of Shinar. This is where the pyramids are. During this time, even though man may not have known it according to our history and our knowledge, but the pyramids had a significance to geometric location and portals. That's the reason why they harness energy. Okay. They harness energy because there was a time period on the planet in which travel between heaven and earth was regular. And when the Watchers, who were deemed to be here at a certain period of time, needed to go between star systems, pyramids were used as a means to travel. They knew that you could only access it spiritually, which is why they used it in the form of a tool, because the spirit would have to travel. But it's a portal. You don't necessarily have to be dead to use the portal. God wants you to use it. Use it. But the ones who are on this planet built this portal to travel between star systems. The Anunnaki are and were real. There are still people who are here today who are draconian shapeshifters, Pleiades, Lemurians, Blue Aliens, starseeds. Starseed is a soul journey. It is not a physical journey. It is a star seed journey. Star seeds are seeds from the star planet systems. Many galaxies, many systems exist. This is the planet of learning. Many souls want to come here. Many souls leave here. But always learning. So, anywho, moving forward. Our journey and our paths are not like anybody else's. A lot of people think we're crazy. A lot of people think we're weird. It's okay. It gets better. But for the purpose of this video, many of the star seeds out here are battling in this Lion's Gate portal. And we are having serious spiritual attacks where they are coming up against us in the 3D air on physical levels to try to stop us from doing the things that God has called us to do. A lot of us are in situations that we don't know what to do. We're at wit's ends. And a lot of us want to just throw our hands up. But God says to tell you, stand and know that He is God. And that He has always been an on-time God. And continue to look to the hills from whence cometh your help. He says He'll never leave us nor forsake us. But we must stand. And believe me, I know it's scary. I know. Better than anybody. But there comes a certain point in our life where we must stand and know that He is God. And that all things do work together for the good of those who love the Lord, who are called according to His purpose and glory. Because see, this battle is not given to the swift, but to he who can endure to the end. Meaning that there will be many illusions that will come before you. There will be many holographic images that will appear as though they are real. These are fake and false perceptions and illusions. Holographic visions come in our 3D realities to throw us out of focus. Those holographic images are those images that appear to be real, but they're not. They're in our 3D realities, and they come to take you off of your focus. They want you to get misguided. The holographic image that you are seeing is not really what it is. For when you begin to put your hand through the holographic image, you're going to realize it's not real. It's a facade. It's not what it appears to be. Beware of the holograms, you guys. People planting holograms for y'all, showing you fake visions. Third eye must remain open. You must pray constantly. Because just like Abraham, the enemy will put a creek somewhere where there was never a creek before. And you've traveled this path before. Those are the holograms. Those illusions of being bound and stuck under situations and circumstances that you're really not stuck in. It just looks like you are. There is an answer to your situation. Look deep beyond the hologram, because it's fake. Purpose of the hologram is to cause you to doubt you. The hologram has been planted to convince you to self-sabotage you by giving you a false illusion within your own psyche to trick you out of what you're supposed to get. Beware of the wile of the devil. That's the message. Be blessed, my beloved. Things that make you go, It's your daily dose.